So my name's Alex Owen. I served in the Household Cavalry for 10 years and did 2 tours of Afghanistan, and I want to speak a little bit about that first tour that I did in 2009, 2010 as a troop leader. I was based in a place called Musakala, sort of northern Helmand province, and I was in command of a troop of about 15 Household Cavalry soldiers. They were a mixed bag of lads from London, Yorkshire, South Africa, Nigeria, Fiji, Scotland. They were from all over the world. And actually, in my early 20s, it was a boys' own adventure. It was hilarious and fun until someone got hurt. One of the things that was a constant for us in Afghanistan while we were there was that threat of danger, of injury. There are definitely moments, sobering moments indeed. One in particular was when we were out on patrol in a armoured vehicle that I was commanding, and we suffered an IED strike on that vehicle, losing several of the wheels. But fortunately, we all walked away from it. And actually, when that happened, that was it was quite a novelty. The fact that we all walked away meant that we could keep our heads high. But it happened again 5 days later. And that's when it really started to sink in that this was a pretty serious environment that we were operating in. Again, we managed to walk away with bruises only, but it was a very thin margin between that story to tell your grandchildren and something that was going to change your life forever. I definitely consider myself one of the lucky ones. Of course, we had scrapes. We had several vehicles blown up. We had people within our squadron that received life-changing injuries. But I brought my whole troop back home, and I'm really, really grateful that I was able to do that when there were so many others that didn't. Remembrance Day, I speak to old comrades, to brother officers who definitely didn't have that experience. Having done 2 tours of Afghanistan, one of the greatest things I've managed to take away from my time in the forces perspective. It's very easy to get wrapped up in our lives and think that the world is falling around our ears and things are crumbling beneath our feet. One conversation stands out for me. A friend of mine who did serve in Sangin, which was this place just to the south of us where we were operating, and they took a really heavy toll during that tour. And he was telling me that there were young 18-year-old lads from the Rifles who were making their weapons ready before going out on patrol, having seen their mate get blown up the day before, and they were physically vomiting as they were making their weapons ready, as they were about to go out the gate, and yet they still did it. They still went out the gate. They still got on with the job. They still did their patrol. I mean, what enormous courage that must have taken for those teenage lads to do that on a daily basis, day in, day out, having been that on that razor edge between life and death so often as young soldiers are out there. It allows one to have a really wonderful perspective of the important things in life for the rest of their life, really. And I've got 2 young boys now, and they are the most important thing to me. And I think enjoying life and having that perspective and realizing that things aren't as bad as perhaps they seem, that's something that the military and the army has given to me. I think it's really important that we do take time to honour the sacrifice that has been made, not just by our grandparents' generation, but by the generations that we're still living amongst today. My generation, certainly, those brothers that I served with in Afghanistan. And what I really enjoy about Remembrance now is getting my children involved. So my sons both wear my grandfather's medals, for example. We march in the parade in our local town, and we go to our war memorial and we listen to a few words and sing a few hymns. And it's just a really, really important tradition. It's a really important moment to just reflect on the fact that we live these amazing lives. We have all these freedoms and all these liberties that we take for granted, that were hard won with the blood, the sweat and the tears of generations that have gone before, and we mustn't forget that. Think about those lads, think about those lasses on Remembrance Day, and just, the service that they do, the fact they step up to do that is amazing, and they deserve our thoughts on Remembrance Day.